Good morning, this is Jack from YardShot.net, and this is a pre-market recording for Wednesday, the 24th of June. Our disclaimer, we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer to your own charts. We're not here to issue trading signals. All right, another reminder, we are doing an annual sale. We usually have an annual sale this time of year, and we are doing sales on annual memberships, and those annual memberships usually have 2 months off, but for the duration of the sale, they've got 4 months off, so you can get 12 months for the price of 8. As usual, on as has been our policy ever since we started the site 5 years ago, we have the price you get for your membership is a price that you keep forever. So if you renew at this price, you'll never see a price increase as long as you have a continuous membership. Okay, yes, let's have a look. Now we've seen a bit of a retracement here. This is a possible back test, but it could be a high. We've obviously got a lot of potential targets above. We've got a Janus flag target, and we had Janus flag targets on ES, NQ, RTY, and YM. We had head and shoulder patterns break down, and we had them fail. These have got targets back at the retest of the high, but I was writing in my last post a week ago, doing another one this morning, doing an update on this. I was writing that there was a possible fail area when we got back to resistance on NQ, and we've reached that. So we could be looking at a fail here. It would be kind of a fail on a whimper. No real divergence anywhere over the 15 minutes, apart from on the NQ on the daily. NQ has made the new all-time high. Possible rising megaphone here. I'm watching with interest to see what happens here, because this is up at a big trend line on NDX, which I'll be showing you. Actually, I can show you that now. So hang on a second. Let's have a look at that quickly now. That is this trend line here. This is the main resistance trend line on NDX. This is the one I was talking about at the beginning of May, and various points beyond that. We've got up to it, and we've got up to it, and we've retested it, and if it's not going to overthrow, then this is the fail area. So we'll see how that goes, and we've got daily negative divergence here, but NDX has obviously outpaced the rest of the pack by quite a bit. So if NDX turns here, chances are the others aren't going to make their Janus flag targets, which would be retests of the June high. In this case, up here in about the 3220 area. RTY, same again. If these are flags that are formed on ES, RTY, and YM, none of those have made their targets at the retests of the last highs. Not the main ones here, but the short-term ones, 1481 area on RTY and YM. Same again. DAX and ESDX, they're still holding the weekly pivots, backtesting pretty close to those at the moment. As long as those hold, those could do high retests too, and without those high retests, of course, we're not going to really have any daily negative divergence on these, so this would be an unusual high. Is NDX going to break up through resistance? Well, we'll have to see. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If it does, then that opens up these higher targets on the others. If it doesn't, then we're going down. So basically, it's as simple as that. Let's have a look at the RTH charts here. SPX, I've got a nice, NDX, I've got, hang on a second, 15-minute, I've got a nice looking rising wedge here. I'm going to be watching that rising support at the open, and on NDX, not NQ, which is obviously a fair amount of resistance away. I think it's like 100 handles or something. I've got this resistance, and I'll be watching that at the open, and that is at the 10,120 area. So this could be a double top. We could see a fail here. SPX, we've got 50-minute sell signal. We had these fixed on the RSI 5 and the RSI 14 yesterday, and the RSI 5 made target yesterday, and the RSI 14 may well make target at the open this morning. We won't have any bigger picture sell signals other than those, and we won't do unless we go back and make the full retest of these highs, I don't think, at which point we'd also have daily negative divergence. If it wasn't for the NQ situation, that would be the obvious next move that I'd very much be expecting. As it is, I'm watching support today, and I'm watching support on 50-hour moving average at 3107, and on the daily chart, the daily middle band at 3105. That is key support. I've got that effectively at about the 93 area on ES, and watching to see what happens there. If we see a hard break below, then it opens up the next support on the daily chart, which is at the 200 DMA, which is in the 3020 area. But really, if we're going to continue up to these targets, these should not be broken. So watching that basically 3090 area on ES very carefully. If that converts to resistance, then we could well have finished this move and be starting on a potentially very large move down. In terms of how large that could be, on NDX, the opposing trend line is in the 6930 area. That's a long way down. That's basically looking for a drop of almost a third on NDX. Do I think we might see that? Well, the economic news is a disaster, obviously. So we shall see. I'm keeping an open mind, but this is a nice pattern. I was talking about this resistance here. It's reached it. It's been respected. If you see an overthrow here, that would probably be bearish because, of course, if we're going to break down on the next move down, we would often see an overthrow on a megaphone or a wedge to signal that that was going to break down on the next way down. Is it going to break down on the next move down? It might well. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at other instruments. DX. DX, nice looking rising wedge here. Chances are there was a bear flag. This is broken down, back testing a bit at the moment, but chances are this is heading back to a retest of this low in the 95.56 area, and I think stands looking for 95 after that. CB, we had a rising channel here, and then we had another rising channel form, and both of those broken down. Keeping an open mind, nothing really on the pattern basis. There's no topping pattern here really. I'm watching to see what happens here, and obviously we've got no divergence. If equities head down hard, chances are this will go up. CL, we had a Janus flag here too that has delivered the targets, and we've got up into the resistance area close to 42 that I've been talking about for a while. We could see a foul here. We've got daily negative divergence. We've got a nice looking potential level top here. We've broken down from the short-term rising wedge. This could be a high. If that's the case, then on a sustained break below the 35 area, we'd be looking at a move down to the 28 area. So this could be a very large move on CL. NG, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. We've got a potential double bottom here. We could rally from here. I've still got potential unfinished business below that on this NG August chart would be maybe in about the 1.55 area, and that would be a retest of the 2020 low. But it doesn't need to make it. It's a nice looking bottoming setup here. I've got positive divergence. We'll see. All right, GC. GC has made the target. Really, it took so long. I was wondering if it was going to make it, but I had a target in about retest of the 1790 to 95 area, and it's made it. And at the moment, it's reversing there. We're on a 60-minute sell signal. This could be a significant high. SI. We don't have a Janus flag target because this head and shoulder is never invalidated. Now we could have been forming an alternate head and shoulder, right shoulder, and actually it's just the right high for it. So I would probably be redrawing this as a slightly downsloping neckline with the neckline in the 17 area. A sustained break below that would be looking really for 15 area or slightly above. HG. Had another Janus flag, yet another Janus flag. This one has almost made target, but not quite made it back to 2.7. I've also got a declining resistance trend line in the 2.75 area, which I've been looking at and wondered if it would reach. That looks still a way distant. But the minimum target should be the retest of this 2.7. I've been considering the possibility this would fail to make the target if the equity indices mainly fail to make the targets. Obviously, we had a Janus flag target on NQ, and that has been made, but I'm wondering if the others won't get made. We'll see. And point of decision, effectively, is now. UUSD, nice looking rising wedge. This is broken up, it's back testing, and chances are this is going to deliver a minimum move to the retest of this high. GBP USD, Stan reckons the retracement is finished, and it may well be. We've broken up from a falling wedge. If that's the case, might well hold the weak to pivot as support, back testing that now, and head straight back up to the previous highs and up towards the main target, which for me is in the 1.32 area. USD JPY went lower, no particular sign of support. This, if DX goes down, this would normally go with it, although to be honest, that relationship's been a little spotty over the last couple of weeks. USD CAD probably would be heading down too, retested this low, and I've got a bigger target in about the 1.315 area. Australian dollar would likely be heading up to a retest of this high. NZ was interesting last night because NZ had a possible sell signal brewing, and that actually fixed and made target. So finding some support of the weak pivot so far. Probably going to be heading back to a high retest here before too long. KC KC, likely bear flag forming, should see another retest of this low. That would set up positive divergence on the daily chart again. We will see how that goes. SB. SB is pretty close to the rising support, hasn't quite hit it yet. This could well be a bull flag or a triangle forming, setting up a retest this high. Watching this rising support, which, as I said, has not quite been reached. CC, I've got an IHS breaking up here, and we'll see how that goes. If it breaks up and makes target, that would be in about the 24.10 to 20 area and slightly above the monthly pivot. Wheat. Looks like a bear flag forming, probably going to need to see another retest of this low. Corn has held the rising support. That's a nice rising support trend line at the moment, and that may well continue to hold. We will see how that goes. But as and when this breaks down, chances are this is a bear flag and is likely to retest this low. Soy, keeping an open mind, might need another retest this high, but this is a pretty nice looking double top, and it's already made one attempt to break down. Backtesting the weak pivot, if that's resistance, this could continue down. I've got rising support in the 850 area. Live cattle. Testing the monthly pivot as resistance. No obvious pattern set up here. It looks kind of like a short-term bear flag forming. And if monthly pivot holds, then we're probably going to see a retest of this low. And lean hogs, no particular sign of reversal. We obviously the bear flag played out. We saw the low. See how it goes from there. But at the moment, I'm not seeing any particular sign of a larger reversal coming. Okay, what questions have we got today, guys? All right, no questions so far, but if you've got any, put them in now because I'll be talking for another minute or so. All right, this morning it's all about support at the daily middle band and the 50-hour moving average. We're effectively right there right now. So this is the key area, let's say 3095 on ES. Is this going to convert to resistance? Because if it does, then this opens up downside and a test of the next big support level, which is the 200 DMA on SPX, which I've got in approximately the 3010 area on ES. I'm watching for a potential low in this area. I'm not seeing a huge amount of sign of it so far. You have to be watching the SPX charts for those as well. If we see a nice AM low, I'll be calling it. Didn't get really anything yesterday. It was kind of a boring day yesterday, really. We could be, I'm watching this support carefully because this could be the start of a significant move lower. I.e., we've come up, we've made our NQ targets. If NQ NDX is actually going to hold this resistance, then it's down from here. Which wouldn't surprise me at all. We will see how that goes. But it does mean that if we do fail here, then we're not going to fail with the assorted signals. I'd really like seeing at highs, but that's because it's a straight up trend line fail. We'll see. So watching out for a potential AM low here, possibly a high if we see a rally early. This support level is key. We've tested it multiple times. It's held. We will see. To convert the daily middle band, well, really, you have to wait until the end of the day after. But I think much sustained trade short-term below 3090 would be bearish. To get a proper break and conversion of the daily middle band, we need a break daily close below, and then we need a confirming close below as well. Obviously, that takes a while. In the shorter term, if we see 3090 turning into resistance, then we can head straight down into the 3010 area. If we are holding that sort of area of support, we can continue higher, and we could potentially still do the retest of the rally high in the 3230 area. So this is an important area. Watching NQ NDX as well. Again, if we see a break up over the trend line there, then that could well follow through. We do have strong upside targets still on ES, RTY, and YM, and those could make their targets. It's just a potential fail area here. It doesn't have to fail. Okay, no worries. In that case, that's a wrap. Watching out this morning, and I'll call it on the Twitter feed if I see a nice AM low, and I'll catch you guys later.